Hey everyone, welcome back to the Outcomes Rocket Founder Stories. So excited that you tuned back in today. I'm so thrilled to introduce you to an amazing entrepreneur. Her name is Marnina Diprose. She's a dermal clinician turned tech founder with a background in health science and passion for skin health. She launched DermHealth.co and Digital Health Co., blending her expertise in skincare with digital innovation. I'm excited to share her journey with you all, from the spa and dermal sectors to empowering beauty and wellness business through cutting-edge digital marketing. So, Marnina, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Saul. It's great to be speaking to you from the other side of the world.
Oh my gosh, I know, all the way from Australia, and here we are talking. So, this is a special moment, folks. We've had actually a couple interviews with Australians, but I think it's less than 10. So you are in the founding Australia crew, I would say.
Hopefully I'm starting a trend.
I like that. I like that. And folks, for those of you that don't know, I had the chance to connect with Marnina on her podcast. It was a phenomenal time. And I said, you know what? We have to do this on the Outcomes Rocket because I love your story and I want all of you to hear about it. So, Marnina, why don't we kick it off by you telling us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, what got you into entrepreneurship, and why healthcare?
Well, I think my entrepreneurial journey started way before I was in healthcare. And that would have been kind of like as early as I can remember, I was selling and making things. Like when I was 15, I had a market selling aprons that I'd made out of old tablecloths. Really? And I was always wheeling and dealing. I was always looking for an opportunity.
I love that.
And so, yeah. And then I did a degree in dermal science. After traveling around and living overseas for a few years, I came back at the tender age of 22, thinking I really need to do something serious with my life. And so I enrolled into a health science degree. Dermatology in Australia takes 12 years. Dermal science takes about 5. And I thought, okay, this is a career that I could get around. I love skin. I love health. And I thought, let's do this. And when I actually graduated, I was working for people throughout my degree. And when I graduated, but the itch just kept coming back to work for myself. And so soon after I finished my degree, I found myself freelancing, and that was in 2016, and I've been working for myself ever since. In terms of what inspires me to work in healthcare and I'm specifically in skin, it's just such a dynamic industry, makes people feel good. Everyone's got skin, everyone's got it, right? We're not going to ever be out of a job. So that was also one of those draw cards for me too.
I love that. And so tell us about your business. You're also an agency. Tell us about what you do and what makes you different.
Good question. I mean, thinking about this, I was like, I could use something really cliche, but I probably am going to use something cliche. And that is we've really niched down. We have niched into the industry. When I first finished my degree, I wanted to share the amazing aspects and the dynamics of skin health, because we often kind of think maybe, just a dermatologist or a beauty therapist, we call them in Australia, but there's so many other people that work with skin. So I started a podcast, and this was just a passion project that grew over time. We've now done 120 episodes, which is just a baby compared to what you've done. So,
hey, congratulations. Listen, over 100. All right. Not a lot of people could say that. Most podcasts fail after 7.
7, that's all.
I know. It's crazy.
7 episodes.
Most fail after 7.
Haven't even started yet.
I know. Yeah. So kudos on being over 100. That's awesome.
Thank you. But as I started this podcast, I was freelancing, and I started to really realize that I was working outside. I wasn't working in the clinic room. More and more people were asking me about how to help them with this part of their website or this part of their automation process. And so it just evolved over time. But what really makes us different and adds value to the system is that we only work with skin, aesthetics, health businesses. And I'm from the industry, so I know the patients well. I know the clients well. I know what happens inside the treatment rooms well. And I think that's really what sets us apart.
I love that. Niche down until it hurts, folks. It feels like it's not the right thing at first until it starts working for you. And Marnina is a great example of what success looks like when you do niche down. And so, what do you feel having niche down that far has helped you do differently or better than other companies in the space?
Well, I think number one is niching down. We've been able to really identify who our clients are. And then when we're speaking to them, we are actually speaking directly to them, not just anyone that needs a website. We specifically now do web development for service-based businesses. So that is number one. And in terms of doing it better, like from an internal perspective, like if we were to looking at how we actually operate our business, it means that we can streamline things because although every business that we work with is different, there are going to be foundational things that are similar. So if, for example, it's a skin clinic, many skin clinics will treat, there's only so many skin conditions. So it's not like we are then having to learn about that whole industry every time we do a website. We can draw on from our experience, which makes our operations more seamless.
Yeah, and there's so many fast lanes that you know about now because of that. So, how about the US? Are you guys doing any sites for dermatologists in the US or not yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
That's
I
always
like
a
that.
thing.
Not yet.
Yeah, we've had a conversation with one of our team members who's now moved to the US, and she's looking at opening the market up a little bit for us there. So who knows what the future will bring.
I like that. Well, I'll say this. If you guys are a dermatologist listening to our podcast, don't you want a dermatologist to create your website or somebody familiar with the dermatologist space? I think the answer is yes. Marnina is doing an incredible job out there. There's skin is skin. It's like math. Math is the same no matter where you go. Obviously, there's differences, but there's fundamentals that are all the same. And the business of skin is fundamentally the same anywhere you go. And so as you've started this, I'm sure it hasn't been easy the whole time, Marnina. Tell us about a setback you've had and what's a key learning that came out of it?
So many setbacks.
Tell me about it.
Some that come to mind is probably just, if it's okay, I might share two.
Please. Yeah.
One would be being clear on your North Star, because there's been many times where I've added services because I felt like I wanted to cater to everyone, only to realize that either it doesn't align with us, we're not the best at it, there's people that are better than it, or it just complicates things. So there's been services, there's been things that we've actually cancelled out. And at first I felt a bit embarrassed about it, like we've failed. But the more that I've done it, the more I've felt really empowered knowing, no, this is what we do. We do websites for service-based businesses. The other bigger, more internal kind of structural thing is team and working with team. We work with remote team, and this can be challenging just to make sure that everyone's aligned. But I think we do weekly stand-up meetings, which has been really beneficial. So we can still build that team culture, even if we're not like working shoulder to shoulder in the same office together.
Yeah.
So key learning is really just any time that there's a problem, my belief is that there's always a solution to the problem, and often it's kind of like on the opposite end of the spectrum. So if there is a problem, look for the solution. That's probably been the biggest learning.
I love that. That's such a great tip. And what about, look, a lot of people have websites that they're not happy with. And so if they're listening today, they're probably like, yep, that's me. And I'll admit, like, there's been points in my site that I haven't been happy with. There's a couple of things I don't like about it now. And, we're working to fix them. What advice would you give to people, like an area that people usually mess up, but it shouldn't be that hard?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, there's all the obvious things like make sure it loads fast, etc. The biggest and the most simple thing is make it easy for people to book with you. The amount of times that I go into a website, I don't even know what state they're in. They could be in a totally different city. I can't find how I can contact them, how I can book an appointment. Just make it easy for someone to book with you or connect with you. That would be like the most simple thing that you can do. Number
I
one.
love that. Yeah.
Like,
And
people want to spend money with you. Don't block them from that.
like people don't care, right? Like just make it simple to book. I love that.
Make it simple.
Make it simple.
I mean, make it simple. Hopefully you're doing all the social proof and you're building trust and credibility and speaking directly to your target audience. But the number one thing is make it simple for them to actually connect with you when they have decided that they want to.
I love that. So like, how do we do it? What do you recommend? Like, what's an easy way to make it simple for people to book with us?
Okay, so some people think that you need a huge website. And if you're wanting to get SEO and build lots of credibility and things, then it is good to have multi-page websites that have information with the keywords for the Google algorithms and things. But really, even if you've got a one-page simple and professionally designed landing page that has a way for someone to identify that you are the right person for them, having social proof for them to then understand that you can be trustworthy, whether this be through before and after photos or affiliation logos or testimonials. And then having a call to action that is clear and easy to do, that is present via a button or multiple buttons. It can be delivered in different ways of what you want them to do now. Now that they've identified that you can solve their issue and that you're the right person for the job. So having clear call to actions, making sure that it's linking with your booking software if possible. If you don't have a booking software where you're actually taking appointments, then use a linked phone number so that when someone actually clicks on the phone number, it opens on their phone. They don't have to then write it down or remember it to then put into their phone.
That. I love tapping and it calls. That's the best.
But these are like such simple things. And when I do website audits, it's the same 10 things. Like the phone number is not clickable. There's no call to action. So it's like, okay, I know that you can do what I want. I can see your before and afters, but there's no button for me to book an appointment. So just clarity. That's important.
That.
Like, do you want me to get more granular, or are you kind of like, is that self-explanatory enough?
Oh man, no, that's awesome. Let me look at my website here to make sure my phone number is clickable. All right, guys, I'm going to let you know right now. Hold on, outcomesrocket.com. I think Marnina might be onto something here that I need to change. Rocket.com. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me scroll to the number. Oh, it's clickable. Look at that.
Phew. Good.
You can't really see it, but I passed the test.
Good.
I was doubting myself there for a second, but
You're like,
is yours clickable, folks? You got to go there right now and check. Not if you're driving, but definitely go check out your site. Hit rewind on this because those are some pretty awesome tips for your website. And in the show notes, by the way, as we close, I'll have Marnina leave her info because there's an opportunity for you to improve. So whether you're a dermatologist or not, definitely consider her for that. Okay, thanks so much for sharing that really mini masterclass around great websites that convert. What would you say is the key call to action you want to leave people with and a closing thought?
For me specifically, not for them to create their own call to action. Okay. Actually, well, let's lead with that. But
if you want to deep dive, let's do it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think so. A closing thought is go to your website with the eyes of a customer. Maybe get one of your more mature friends or family members to navigate to your site and see if they can book a time with you or find a way to contact you, and making sure that they can navigate it. Because if they can't, then there's going to be a wide population that aren't. And that means that you're missing out on people. They're just going to some other website that can like help solve their issues. Web development does not need to be complicated. It really just is a people-to-people way of marketing your business, and it can be really powerful. It is going to do it for you 24 hours a day if it's done correctly, but keep it simple. It does not have to be complex. The best place for people to learn more about us and the things that we do is you can visit our website, digitalhealthco.com.au. Otherwise, am I able to mention the podcast, Sol, as well?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah? Yes.
So we
Let's
have a
talk about that.
podcast with about 120 or so episodes. We interview experts in skin health, dermatology, the aesthetic space, and that is called Derm Health Co. So that's available on any podcast platform. Or if you're on Instagram, you can follow that at dermhealth.co.
And by the way, I was really impressed. Like the detail of your topics, all of them are super interesting. Definitely, if you guys want to level up your skin game, that's where you go. Marnina's had some incredible guests, so I certainly testify to the quality of her interviews with people. And so make sure you check that one out. I'm going to jump on her podcast too. So jump on there. You might find me sharing some wisdom and just messing around, having a good time. But certainly make sure you check her out. In the show notes, we'll leave links to her podcast, to her website, and a summary of the tips that she shared to make your website a killer closing website that's going to help grow your business. Marnina, thank you so much for being with us. This has been a ton of fun.
Thank you so much, Sol. It was really great to speak with you. And I'm looking forward to releasing your podcast as well. You share a wealth of knowledge. Usually you're the one asking questions. So you want to learn more about like Sol's real expertise and his genius zone, then you can listen in on that too.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Marnina. Appreciate the shout out. Thank you for joining us again, everyone. Hopefully this episode gets you what you need to get those extra leads from your site. Marnina, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.